opening statement?
Yeah, you bet.
Go ahead and take questions.
Yep. Good morning. Got through the weekend. I hope you guys had a good weekend, and I know you got a lot of information from the coordinators already. But probably one of the things I know I'll get asked is about injuries, and so just hit on a couple guys probably that will come up. Cole Adams got hurt upper extremity injury, and we'll kind of see how he goes through the week here. We wouldn't rule him out, but I think probably be very limited early, and we'll see how it goes throughout the week there. But and then Pritchett played, in the game as you saw last, I think 6 plays or so, and came out good with that. Practiced towards the end of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, a little limited, more limited on Wednesday, and as the week went on, practiced and felt okay about him being out there. Felt good about him being out there, and he came in and did a nice job. And the big thing is that he got through healthy, and that was a key there. And then Caden Proctor, he will continue to work on his functional movement and all that kind of stuff early in the week, and keep progression in a way where I feel we're going to be pretty dang close by the weekend of getting him on the football field. So I feel like he's coming along real well, especially at the end of last week, working extremely hard to get back out there. I know a lot of the things that both coordinators talked about. I think a lot of the stuff that needs to be worked on was pretty obvious. I think sometimes you look at a game and maybe statistics don't show the things that we know as a staff we need to work on. I think pretty obvious penalties and takeaway turnovers, creating takeaways and limiting the turnovers is a high priority. It always is. Not something that we don't take lightly. It's something that's an emphasis every single day. So we'll continue to do that. And there were some highlights I thought that you can take from the game. Both sides of the ball as a team continue to fight, continue to play. Didn't feel like our guys ever came up short with the amount of energy and effort. I think they had a ton of energy and want to before the game. At halftime, thought they regrouped. Thought both sides were holding themselves accountable for the things that they knew they needed to clean up. We cleaned up some of those things, I think, in the second half. Other issues presented themselves, and in the end, though, they're going to find a way, and they kept fighting. They kept playing together. They took it on themselves and individually, their unit, to go make the plays and trust the other side of the ball that they'd get it done as well. So I'm proud of that piece. Tomorrow, go back to work. Today's their day off from practice, and the guys came in yesterday excited, ready to go with the challenge that lies ahead with Wisconsin. And there is no other option other than just go to work tomorrow. And I know we're going to have a great Tuesday. Questions?
All right, thanks, Coach. Let's start on the right. Charlie?
Yeah, hey, Coach. Just given what he went through last week, just how proud are you of the way that Q Robinson played on Saturday and went through that?
Yeah, he's played a couple really good games here in the 2 games we've played. So I'm proud of him. I told him that after the game, and I thought about him a couple times when I saw him out there flying around. And I know there was a couple emotional times I think that he went through in the game, but he's just a special guy all around. It's you see everyone sees him as a player, but being around him and who he is as a person, he loves this program. He is a guy that just everyone looks to as being consistent, I think, and for him to really get back here, have some urgency getting back here, and feel like he wanted to be around this team the latter half of the week. It just shows everything that I said, about his commitment to wanting to be here and help this program every single day be the best we can be. So, a lot of emotions I know for him, and I was proud of the way he played, and he's done a great job here through 2 games.
Go to the middle of the room to Emily Grace.
Coach, can you walk me through the play calling process and what your input is on each play?
Yeah, Coach Sheridan, you're talking offense? Yes. Yeah, okay. Offense, Coach Sheridan calls the plays throughout a drive. Obviously, I can override something if it is, but I know as a play caller, and haven't done it for 20 years, that you have to be in a rhythm. You have a plan. In between series, I'll ask, what his thoughts are after they've had a chance to get to with the players now, especially with the iPads, make a couple get a couple thoughts together on what they saw, and as he's up in the box putting the next kind of thoughts in the drive together, I'll be on the defensive side, but then I'll flip over. And, if there's a takeaway early, sometimes we don't get that chance to talk much. But, usually with TV timeouts and things like that, I get a chance to kind of see where his head's at, give some input there. I think there's always, I don't want to say things you're setting up, but I think there's, again, I use the word rhythm. I think that's the biggest way to describe it. That is really critical. And, when you get too much input from too many people, you start getting out of that rhythm. And I think we've done a great job. That's something I have made a point ever since I became a head coach again to make sure I do, because I know when I was with head coaches who did that, how much I appreciated that. And I was fortunate for 10 years as an assistant to pretty much have head coaches that let me kind of go about my business the way I thought it needed to be done. So.
That side, over to Chase.
Coach Womack already commented on the targeting call on Justin Jefferson, but apart from that, can you just discuss his play? I think he had 10 stops and his development over the last week or two.
Yeah, again, I think that whole linebacking core has done a lot of great things. Justin certainly flying around. We feel great about the speed he brings. He's into it. He's into it not just, individually. He's a guy that's becoming a strong leader in our football team, and the energy he brings every day. I just love having him in this program. He's involved in special teams, and so, not having him out there in the first half will be tougher. I mean, more, he's an important part of what we do with different packages, and so, and unfortunately that happened late in the game. So, we'll have to work through that here in the first half of Wisconsin.
Stay on the left side with Alex.
You now have 2 games worth of watching film with Jalen Milroe. What do you like from what you've seen, and where do you want to see some improvement from him?
Okay. I think, I think about some touchdown throws that he's made. K-Law in the first game, scrambling on the run. The one to Prentice this week, stepping up in the pocket. I think those are things that I've seen where he's really improved. He had a scramble to Dupree, where he hit him along the sideline. I thought there was another one that he did a really good job, and some other guys could have worked with him a little bit better on a scramble drill. He went to the right, hit Germ on a scramble. And so I think eyes down the field and playing that game that he can play, because people are worried about his legs, where he can run and take off, or he can draw the attention to him and throw it. I think that's been great. When we give him looks where he can make decisions, because there's a lot of times 2-3 choices where he can make, whether it's throw a ball to the perimeter, run a running play. He might even keep it. I think he's getting better with every rep that we do it, whether it's in practice or the games. You're seeing that show up, and we want those options because he can do it with his arms and his legs. And the throw and the touchdown to Ryan Williams, that opportunity to just rip it out there. That's something I think when we first started in spring ball, and I think saw it in fall camp where he was getting more and more comfortable. It's not just confidence in yourself, it's confidence in the guys that are around you. And I think that's the key, and so he's developing that. We're talking through every little detail, not just with him, but we're talking it through with the other positions so that trust can happen on the practice field. We're intentional with that. And so he's I thought, again, this week he made more strides with check and protections with confidence. We can continue to work on that. He had to run around a little bit at times, more than we'd like. But there's a number of factors that come into play. It's not just the offensive line; it's the whole group. And I think the areas you continue to improve. I think we just continue to work together with him to shape and mold. And I think almost every year. I don't care if it's an offense you've been with, and you're in year 2 or year 3, or more. I think there's an evolution where you have different personnel than the year before. And right now, we're continuing to find exactly what works for us, what that rhythm is, what he's exactly comfortable with. We aren't going to run something that I think he does a good job of talking and giving us feedback on what he likes and what he maybe is a little bit, hey, let's try to hold off on that as we go through the week. And I love that. I love that because if there's any question in any player's mind, but especially the quarterback, let's hold off on it, and that's few and far between, but he's done a good job of just giving us feedback on what he saw and knowing that we can work together to help, get him in the spots that he really wants to be in. So I think we're making progress, great progress.
Front right, Nick.
Yeah, kind of follow up to that. Notice a moment post game where you took a second to talk to Jalen and say something to him, and obviously that's a conversation between the two of you. But what are you willing to share about what your message was to him post game?
Oh, I can't even remember exactly what I said. We've talked in the locker room too. Just I don't remember the exact words. I think it was probably just a lot of like, hey, we're always learning. I think that was the general theme of what I was sharing with him. We're always learning. It's good to grind out a win in the fourth quarter, just something along those lines that, I think it had to do with you keep fighting for this reason. You're going to find a way. You're going to break through at some point if you just keep playing the game and letting the game come back to you by competing.
Over to Tony on the left.
Back to the Jefferson play. What did you see from that play? And then secondly, just as a head coach, it seems like Wisconsin also had a targeting play like that. What do you feel about the way that I guess, targeting gets called and the ramifications of it at this level?
Yeah, I mean, the helmets hit each other, and so we'll wait to get exactly the feedback. There's not much you can do, when you're out there as a coach at that moment. Anything I say isn't going to matter when they're going through their decision. And so, their helmets hit, and now it's just a matter of whether you met any or all of the ways that they determine whether it's targeting or not. So, face mask versus crown, all those type of things. And I know, they got a player that's out too, and I think that was more of a mid-level hit in that game. So.
Stay on the left side to go, Steven.
Coach, when you have a position group that may be struggling a bit with penalties, like what do you say to that group to keep them calm and keep them mentally engaged?
Well, I think for us in that game, last weekend, we needed to adjust to how it's being called, and I think that's what you try to say, hey, it's getting called, right? Getting called tighter. And, now we're really able to look at replays and understand, if you didn't see it in the game when it happened live or why it was called, because sometimes it's on the other side of the field from where our bench is at, you can go back and you can see the end zone and wide shot and try to determine how tight is it called, and so, trying to stress that, we got to do a good job keeping it in our hands. We're inside in a lot of cases. We just kept grabbing cloth longer when they were pulling away from us just for that split second, and, holding getting called. And, unfortunately it brought back, I don't know, this is a rough tally, but I wanted to just kind of do my own numbers. I think it was probably at least 180, 190 yards worth of offense, not counting the yards that we lost because of the penalty assessment, and that's a game changer. In the first half alone, I think it was probably at least 180. So we got to adjust and make sure we're playing the game the way it's supposed to be played.
We got time for just a couple questions left. Let's start with Cody in the middle of the room.
2 games in, just curious what your assessment of the secondary is so far.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of changing it up, different coverages and different game plans from week 1 to week 2. We got the 2 picks to start off the season, and I thought, they were 15, I think, were they 15 of 35, I think, in the game. That wasn't their strength necessarily, but we took it away from them, and really no explosives from a passing side of the ball for them, passing for them. So I really like that. I think we, different guys are coming up and making tackles. Malachi did a nice job having to come up. Unfortunately, sometimes, the quarterback did break contain and make some plays with his legs, but guys were there to go go get them on the ground and live to see another play. And that's your last line of defense. And I think we've done a good job of only giving up 1 touchdown so far. And so aside from pass coverage, they're keeping the opponent out of the end zone, and in the red zone especially, forcing field goals. So I like where we're at. Got a lot of youth that we're rotating through there. That's not just promising for the growth that they're going to have this year, but promising for the future down the road.
Go to the back middle here.
Hey, Coach. Jonathan Hoppy with WBRC. First road trip for you guys here at Alabama. Obviously, you've coached in some big games. How do you get these guys ready for what'll be a great environment up in Wisconsin?
Yeah, there's nothing like playing at home here at Bryant-Denny, but I think there is something to knowing you're going to go into a great environment. These guys really probably haven't been there. Maybe a couple guys from the Midwest that have seen that or been on a visit maybe at one point. But it's going to be a great atmosphere up there, and it's one that I think when you're preparing to go play those games, and we'll of course have that many times here with the SEC schedule too. That hostile environment, taking it on and knowing that it's kind of you versus everyone there. So I think our guys are looking forward to the challenge. They're looking forward to improving on this last week and knowing that we're going to have to in order to face and get a win versus Wisconsin on Saturday.
All right, let's get one last question on the left side of Jack.
Hey, Coach. Coach Womack touched on it, but what did you make of Tim Keenan's performance, and just have you seen him continue to kind of be a leader for your defense this year?
Yeah, I caught Tim yesterday. I just think we all are on the same page and feeling that he's done a really nice job here the first 2 games as well. Just pushing the pocket and disciplined. His assignment. He's just steady as a person, but he's also just steady as a player. Force inside, So his strength is important. He's making sure he always does his job, and you can count on him. So really, really key piece to the success that I think we've had defensively.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you, Roll Tide.